welcome to episode 15 of the Good Game Roundtable podcast. I'm Lin Jie Kong, and today I'm joined by writer researcher extraordinaire Jo Reardon.
Hello.
Pocket producer whiz Peter Burns.
Hey, that's me.
And the newest official Good Game meat puppet, Rad Yeo.
Meat puppet.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone going?
Well, thank you.
Okay, Peter, I'm going to let you go for a while because you need to export
Still
and
pocket stuff. I'll be right back.
and publish Pocket.
Being a whiz.
So the rest of you, Rad, congratulations.
Thanks.
You're officially talent now.
Am I?
I don't know. Are you?
You tell me.
Are you going to, introduce talent heirs to your work?
I don't know. Yeah, it still feels really weird and a bit surreal, but very, very exciting. And I'm keen to do some stuff. We're shooting some well-played stuff this weekend. The first kind of big new well-played episode. And that's super exciting. So we'll see how that goes.
Awesome. So today's two topics of conversation. The first one is Pokemon Go as a dating app.
Yeah.
And the second one is I want to know your high school stories and what subjects you guys think should be taught at high school. And this is off the back of our Gimpy coding story that went to air this week. But first, Pokemon Go. And I know both of you have played a lot. I personally have played none of it.
Really? Not even a little bit?
No.
Do you want to catch a Pokemon on my phone later?
Is that a euphemism? No.
No, she's serious.
Oh, I'm serious.
But I bring the dating app knowledge into this conversation. So Pokemon Go, tell us, why is it so addictive thus far for you guys?
People like to catch them all in.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Because it's something to do.
It's something
also.
to do. There's Pokemon all around you in the world, so it's sort of... there's that constant fear of missing out, that there could literally be a rare Pokemon just right over there. And if you don't check your phone right now...
You'll miss out.
It'll be gone.
So it's just massive FOMO then?
Yeah, pretty much.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And it totally is just something to do. There's like kind of almost, if you're in the city at least, almost always either a Pokestop to spin or a Pokemon to catch.
Yeah, and it's
Gym
just
to fight.
basic RPG obsession as well. You've got levels to grind, stuff, XP to get. It's that simple, really.
But in the real world.
But in the real world, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be the very best.
That's really interesting for me because, we talk about video games. We live in a video game world in this office. And here, this game is melding together real life with something that you could hold in your hand that's on your phone.
Yeah. It's not entirely new. I think ever since I started on the show, we've been talking about gamification and stuff and, bringing real life and games together in certain ways. And obviously Ingress was around as well, which is the game the Pokemon Go developers made before Pokemon Go. So it's not necessarily brand new ideas, but I think because it's Pokemon, it's just exploded.
It's really interesting. My cousin came over for dinner on Wednesday this week.
What did you eat?
We had like red braised pork, Mom cooked. It was very good. I'm glad you asked a food question.
Important.
And after dinner, she was like, "Oh yeah, every night I've been going to Burwood Park to play Pokemon Go," and she does not play games at all. And do you guys have friends who've suddenly started playing Pokemon Go and who don't play games?
Yeah, I have a friend. Actually, the last game I think that she played was the Kim Kardashian game. So I suppose she's one of those kind of picks up the mobile games because they're free and easy to get access to and play. But she's been playing tons of Pokemon Go. And even my parents have kind of been asking questions about it. My mum was like, "What is it and how do you play? Can I play?"
How do you Pokemon?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, most of my friends have disdain for it outside of the office. This is my little safe Pokemon space outside of that, which is fair enough. It's a terrible game in so many ways.
All my dad cares about is like, do you get money if you catch them? I'm like, no,
You're
Dad.
like,
Well,
Who is paying
apparently
you?
people have been selling their accounts for quite a lot.
Oh,
There's stories
really?
of that, yeah. Apparently, if you've got some good rare Pokemon, your account could be worth some moolah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That is great. I love how these games, take a new life of their own and people find, new innovative uses for these apps, which brings us to, if Pokemon Go were to be the ultimate dating app for nerds and geeks, what would you add to it? So I had this thought because a couple of years ago, I actually pitched this idea to one of my friends who owns his own startup and he creates apps and everything. And I said, look, as a geek / nerd, whatever, I find it really hard using normal dating apps because I'm just a weird person.
You're lovely, Lynn.
Yeah, I'm lovely but weird. So I'm thinking, okay, I really wanted to develop an app for geeks and nerds to find each other and, I don't know, find love if you want.
Yeah,
companionship,
catch some Pokemon.
whatever, catch some Pokemon. And I was like, oh, how would you do it? Like, would you do it, would it be gaming based? Would it be like Netflix based? If you can find your favorite Netflix shows.
I still want them to do the thing where like it syncs up your Netflix with someone else so you can watch a show at the same time, but you don't have to be in the same.
That's pretty cool. And then you could chat to each other, like send each other messages.
Yeah.
See, that would be a fantastic dating app.
I saw they have Netflix tapes now, which are like you can make a mixtape of Netflix show to send to people.
Oh, that's a bit cute.
It's interesting, yeah.
You should be able to like share playlists like on Spotify.
I'm sure like 14-year-olds are doing that already, you know, playlists on Spotify.
Yeah.
So, you know, thinking about Pokemon Go, it's almost like a perfect dating app in itself. You know, you go catch stuff with other people. And that's not being dirty at all.
Yeah, no, I think there are roots of a potential dating app in there, but as it is, it actually has almost zero inbuilt social features.
Yeah.
Like you can't add friends, you can't challenge friends, you like none of us sort of know each other on the app or anything. The best you can do is you just end up bumping into other people playing the game because you're both playing it. That's the only real social.
In a way, though, that's a massive advantage over other dating apps. Well, not other, but over dating apps because it actually forces you into proximity with each other. It forces you face to face. Whereas I feel like I've not used any dating apps, so this is just
protect yourself. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
So they're okay. They're okay.
I think that's a fair point. That, you know, the fact that you're actually forced to go out and just meet new people, but at the same time, it's not really. No one's there with the intention of hooking up. You're there to catch some Pokemon. So unless that's sort of explicit, I don't think many people are going to wander into a park and just start hooking up.
Yeah.
Right?
But in a way, that's kind of innocent and nice, right? Because you're not in it inevitably to hook up or anything. Like you're finding a common interest and you're like, hey, you like catching Pokemon. I like catching Pokemon. This is great.
I can almost guarantee a few first dates have started from Pokemon Go encounters.
It's a maker.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if any of our listeners have met, you know, a partner through Pokemon Go, please let us know. I'd love to hear your stories. So what would you add, Joe?
Well, I think you obviously, with any dating app, you need profiles. You need to be able to like look at people. Probably very similar to Tinder. You'd see what other people are in the area that are nearby. You could see their Pokemon, say like, yes, no, let's go on a poker hunt together or something like that. Poker hunt's a word.
Poker hunt's a great word,
I like the idea that you can like yes or no and then it'll like make you guys meet at the same gym and then go on a walk.
Well, you wouldn't want like some scrub with like zero Pokemon to just be coming along, because especially when they implement trading and stuff like that, you'd want a decent Pokedex in there.
Would it be poke or go?
Poke or go. Swipe, poke or go.
Peter, are you coming back?
Yes.
Okay. You can talk about it when you come back. A lot of these dating apps and dating sites, basically they start you on a compatibility system, right? So you have to do these quizzes and tests, and then they
doesn't hook
come up
you
with a percentage.
With people from a different team.
Oh, you have to meet people
but then
in the same team.
Where's the Romeo and Juliet story going to come in if you don't get a Team Mystic and Team Valor eventually, you know, get in together?
I think that's pretty discriminatory though. Like it should it should just be your Pokemon preferences.
Yeah,
or maybe your level.
Well, I think just simple Pokemon preferences, saying, you know, if you both really dig Bulbasaur or something, that's something to connect over, isn't it?
But see, I really dig Pokemon with a high CP.
Right, that's it. That's all that matters to you, that CP.
Just give me that sweet CP.
That big CP.
Yeah.
give me your CP pics.
Yeah, send CP pics.
Yeah.
At the moment, there's no way to contact people through the app, right?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what happened this morning? I was on the train, and as my train was going toward the city, there's a couple train stations that have gyms attached to them. And so every morning I try and like capture a gym, or if there's an empty spot in the gym, chuck a Pokemon in it as the train is going past. And I got about 2 or 3. And as I was doing that, I noticed there was another person who was doing the same thing. Like I kept seeing their username pop up, and I'm like, oh, this is a bit cute, isn't it? We're just going on the train together.
Fighting for gyms.
Yeah, fighting for gyms in the 30 seconds that our train is in the station.
Yeah.
So if I knew who that person was, maybe I wouldn't have talked to them.
That's the problem, isn't it? It's like you see them doing it and you go, this is nice that we're both doing the same thing, but you don't.
I was visiting a friend on Wednesday night, and I was in like a back street in Ryde, of all places, and trying to find his house. And I was on my phone, and someone just yelled at me from their driveway from across the road, asking me, are you playing Pokemon? Like, are you trying to catch Pokemon right now? Like, no, I'm really not.
It's amazing, though, that the assumption now is if someone's using their phone, they're playing Pokemon.
Yeah, in like a nondescript place.
Yeah.
If their face has been lit up by a phone in the dark, they're trying to catch Pokemon.
Chances are pretty good if they're playing Pokemon.
Yeah.
What a world.
Or if they have weird walking patterns.
Yeah, if they're walking really slowly and keep rubbing their phone, they're probably playing Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I guess a problem for a lot of, nerds and geeks like us is the fact that we don't like people.
I like people.
No, we like people, but...
I like my friends, but how do I get the friends to start off with?
But it's
how did I make all the friends I have?
They all came in a period where we were all stuck in an institution together. I feel like that's where I got my friends from, whether it's high school or uni.
A lot of my good friends are like friends of friends and sort of outer circles that ended up...
I'm weirdly friendly.
Into my life. That's true. You're very friendly.
Yeah,
You're probably the friendliest person I've met.
Really?
You're up there.
That's nice.
You are also quite young though, so you haven't got to that jaded bitter bit of like, I don't want to make friends anymore.
And I think also because I'm just small and female, I'm non-threatening, so it's easy to make friends as well. I think when I can imagine if there was someone who was like a big dude that just started talking a lot to me, I would be quite scared as to what's going to happen next. Yeah. But because of who I am, I can talk to people and they're just like, oh, that's nice. So yeah. But
for someone like personally, I never go to bars or nightclubs or anything. So where the hell would I meet people?
At bars.
Yeah, you have your friends at bars or whatever. Yeah. So I mean, it's almost like an app like Pokemon Go. You should be able to find new friends through, right?
I guess part of me just sort of wants Pokemon Go to stay almost as it is. It could be used as an accessory, but I think it'd be pretty horrible if it just went full blown dating app, because that just loses a lot of it.
I would probably stop playing. If that happened.
But I mean, someone could make their own app that plugs into the API somehow.
I think it'd definitely be a mod. I don't think Nintendo and Niantic is going to come out with a Pokemon Go dating app. Can you just imagine the controversies that would come?
Yeah,
especially with the number of children playing the game.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's never going to work.
Yeah.
I don't know, if I was playing it and someone approached me and was like, oh, are you playing Pokemon Go? I don't know how I would react. I don't know,
have they done that yet?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I don't even play it and people have come approached me.
Really?
Maybe I just look like someone who would play Pokemon Go.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I have all the signs of a Pokemon Go player, so I don't know. Maybe I just walk too quickly or have headphones on. But
now you're giving our audience the excuse to come up to you and
and ask to catch me first. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how I would react. I think it definitely gives people more of an opening to say hello to someone if they might already be interested in them. But I don't know if it works as a...
I mean, I can imagine maybe if there's a looking to trade kind of option, people might, subvert that into a secret code if you're looking to trade in a certain place.
So trading's happening soon, right? They're going to implement trades?
How soon is soon?
Right,
We don't know. They said they're bringing it in,
But one thing I have seen is people have actually put their username as their phone number. So that's
inviting all sorts of trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
That's inviting a lot of pokey pics.
Let's hope they're pokey pics.
Peter,
I'm back.
You're back.
I'm back.
Is Pocket online now?
The main app's online.
Yeah.
The gameplay video is still processing, but
okay,
people can wait.
Yeah, people can wait. They can be patient. Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go as a dating app.
Is it a dating app?
Yeah.
It surely would be better than the app that it is right now. Just anything extra.
You say that you hate it, but you play it so much.
Yeah.
How many times have you uninstalled it now?
Well, technically,
or reinstalled
I
it. I should probably
uninstalled it myself.
Others have intervened in your life.
Actually, no, I did uninstall. I the first day I got it, I was like, "Nah, this is stupid. Don't play it." And then I kind of got into it. Then I had to get Barjo to uninstall it for me, and then I reinstalled it because there was a Bulbasaur nearby and I had to catch it. And then Sam deleted it for me again. No, Sam reinstalled it. I can't remember. It's a whole confusing mess.
Sam's pro Pokemon.
He is super pro Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's been a whirlwind to get me here, but everything that's good about the app is broken in some way.
Yeah.
It's really frustrating. So I imagine just building a dating app on top of it could only make things better.
Swipe left or swipe right for Pokemon? Go?
Yeah. Look, I mean, I do really like the social aspects it already has to it. Not that I use it for that. I've never met
what social
anyone
aspects?
Well, the concept of going outside with other people, with your friends, or meeting other groups
The
of people
social aspect
who are
of
clearly
leaving the
doing the
house.
same thing
Encouraging
as
you to leave where you are and go somewhere else.
Because you can't hide the fact that you're playing Pokemon Go when you're playing it. And you think you can, but you can't. I walk around my area and I see people looking down at their phones and pretending they're not they're not swiping up to throw a Pokeball, and it's like, I'm catching the same Pidgey as you do.
It's like people probably using excuse like, I'm not playing Pokemon, I'm just swiping right on Tinder. I'm just,
maybe,
I just keep swiping right. Yeah.
Is Pokemon more embarrassing than Tinder now?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
No?
I think using a dating app in public's a slightly bigger taboo than Pokemon in a public.
Are you allowed to use
shame,
Tinder before like 6 p.m. before the sun sets?
Look, you're allowed to do whatever you want. It's a free country. It's just how much shame you feel.
Right.
Why would time of day matter for Tinder?
Oh, just as like
in
it's
public.
pretty much a hookup app, right?
Yeah.
It's like you don't kiss anyone before dark.
It's like drinking. It's like drinking
These are
before
the
midday.
rules.
You know,
Yeah,
I just want to say, I see people do date on Tinder these days. I don't think exclusively hook up.
I've never used a dating site or app, so I'm really not one to talk about them. But
has anyone approached you like during playing Pokemon Go outside? Have they asked you like, are you playing Pokemon?
no, because I'm one of the people that's pretending I'm not playing Pokemon, so I look like I don't want to talk to anyone. I'm right alongside those like shamed Rattata catchers.
Right.
Yeah, I find it's more like a knowing look or a glance. You kind of both look at each other, you see, and you're like, look away in shame.
Yeah, there's totally an element of that. And also, like, I'm a lot more of a snoop. I find I walk past people who are looking at their phone, and then I look over my shoulder at their phone to be like, yeah, you're playing Pokemon. Or, wow, you're doing something not Pokemon. Like texting your, like, lover. And if you could do that in Pokemon, you wouldn't have to close the app ever.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, so yeah, texting in Pokemon Go. I think they should add that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Messages.
If there was chat, I mean, imagine it was like Miiverse kind of thing, and like messages were popping up being like Bulbasaur.
I was thinking
here,
Miitomo.
Kind
It's
of
like
stuff.
your Pikachu goes to their Pikachu's house, and they just like say pick it at each other until
just
one
say
of them
horrible
takes their
things.
onesie off.
If our Miitomo brief experiment was anything to go by, everyone just said the nastiest stuff. Like,
That was so bad. That whole like 3 days we were playing that, it was just
that was like one night.
Yeah,
and I was like,
it got pretty
bored.
dirty.
And I was like,
It got
this
pretty
is not
dirty.
good.
Yeah.
This is bad.
Before we sat down, Pete, we were talking about the fact that as you get older, it's much harder to make friends, right?
Yeah.
It's harder to keep friends.
It's hard. It is because you actually have to make an effort to keep friends. You don't even see you don't go and see them every day because you're stuck in school or something. So personally, like if someone came up to you whilst you're playing Pokemon Go, struck up a conversation, would there potentially be a friendship in there? or would you be like, you weirdo, please stop talking to me?
I wouldn't consider someone a weirdo for approaching me while playing Pokemon Go, but like I don't invite. I feel like I don't give off an aura of inviting social interaction when I'm out in public anyway.
Do you have resting bitch face?
I guess a little bit.
He has active pulled it into a bitch face. Don't talk to me.
Active bitch face.
Active bitch face, yeah. What about you guys? Like,
I think I would probably talk to them, and it would just be a matter of whether they're a weirdo or not. I mean, yeah, like I said, I'm weirdly friendly, so I would probably talk to them for as long as until I felt that there were no more Pokemon worth getting there, unless they seemed really nice, and then I would just stay and talk to them until a natural end to the conversation.
Yeah.
Please never talk to me. I'll never leave.
Joe, if you had to make the ultimate dating app or site for nerds/geeks, what would you have?
I think you need just a basic kind of questionnaire, right? Like, what are your favorite Star Wars films? You know, if you can just filter out anyone.
That's
basic questionnaire.
That's basically like the number one
question. What are your favorite Star Wars films? If they don't like Star Wars, then straight away incompatible. If they put any of the prequel films, straight away incompatible.
They just get shut out of the app.
Exactly.
It's also like
just
that ages
blocked.
someone as well, doesn't it? It's like I feel like complete write-off if you're not into Star Wars. But then episodes 1, 2, and 3 are forgivable if you like were born in 1995 or afterwards.
Episode 1.
Yeah. Okay.
Not 2 and 3. Episode 1 is forgivable. Yeah. Pete.
Perfect app?
Yeah. For geeks and nerds. Because there isn't one. Trust me, I've checked.
Again, I haven't really used Tinder or anything like that. But you would want it to be a social interactive space, an online social interactive space. Like, I mean, I guess Habbo Hotel, which we talked about on podcast.
But have you seen what happens to gamer online social
know,
spaces?
I know,
like,
I know,
they're not
I know.
friendly, loving
It needs
places.
to be moderated somehow.
Yeah.
Like even
And
Second Life.
it's so
people
toxic.
did find love
Naturally.
in Second Life, and people found love in WoW. Like, big multiplayer online spaces. Like, it's all there. The social, it's the pub, right? It's the pub for people who don't want to be at the pub, except you can't see and touch people. But
which is a blessing.
totally
I feel like there needs to be more distraction, because I think the reason that things like WoW work is because they're also distracted with actually playing the game, that the social part comes secondary and you kind of talk to people incidentally. Whereas something like Habbo Hotel or Second Life, where kind of the whole purpose of it is talking to people, just gets down a weird path. I don't know. It's like people can't handle it and they just
people go there totally with an eye to pick up.
Yeah.
Whereas WoW is like, you form a friendship through like trying to achieve something together first before being like, hey, you're pretty cool, let's talk more. So, yeah.
I feel like a nerdy dating app should have mini games in it. That would be something you can have, like a little mini game off with your potential partner. If they're terrible at games, you're like, your cred's not good enough.
Yeah,
you can't beat me at this little mini game of Pong, then.
Yeah.
But I mean, Facebook Messenger has kind of implemented that, hasn't it? With the soccer and basketball.
It's funny, some dating apps have questions that you answer, right? They have like compatibility questions, and one of them have maths questions, like algorithms. And I always do them because I would then go check like other profiles and make sure they have it correct, because I don't think I would want to date anyone who can't do maths.
Who doesn't know their 7 basic maths tables.
But how complex are these maths questions?
They're not that complex.
Yeah.
They're like probably, late primary school, early high school type stuff.
Are you allowed to use a calculator?
There's one built into your phone.
No one's going to stop you.
Yeah,
Like,
no one's
What are the
stopping
rules
you.
of the test?
But the rules are like, you better read the question correctly. I don't know, I think there are like certain deal breakers for nerds and geeks, like for example, Star Wars. And if you're like a token nut, you've probably got like some parts of, Lord of the Rings trivia that, you want your partner to know or something.
If you don't own 13 different prints of The Hobbit, I don't want to talk to you.
I think as well, there's a very big difference between how people are in an online space and how people are in real life. And something for me is like, I have a lot of friends who, when I talk to them face to face, I'm like, you seem really bright, you're really switched on, you're really interesting. And then when I talk to them online, I'm like, you seem dumb. You can't type properly, and I can never figure out what it is you're trying to say. So I think that kind of different dynamic as well would be interesting to play with, especially in a nerd dating app.
And what's really interesting for me and in my personal experience is that people who are really engaging and lively online, but then you meet them in person? Well, then you meet them in person, and then it's like it's good for a while, and then it's just dull.
Really?
And then you're like,
why?
And then you keep messaging them, and it's like, you're still kind of interesting online.
Yeah.
But then when I see you in person, there's just nothing there. And that comes, down to chemistry, I think.
Have you ever found the opposite though? Someone's like really dull online, and you're like, you know what? I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
And they've ended up just being the most exciting person you've ever met. No.
No. I think it only goes
You're like,
one way.
everyone is boring.
Yeah. I don't know. That could be a really interesting setup, is if you just find someone oppressively dull online.
Oppressively dull.
And then you just go on a date.
Yeah.
Just to see.
It's weird, because I think you automatically weed out those people, right?
Yeah, if someone's
Like-
really dull, you're just like, okay, just not going to respond.
Because you only have so much time. And the worst thing about kind of dating apps and online dating is that you have thus many choices. And you always feel like, well, I can't waste my time on the shit ones. So you have to, keep swiping
Sure.
until you get a
Until you
good
get a good one. Yeah.
It's the worst. No.
Do you get into like a zone, like a particular, how like when you first start choosing stuff, whatever it is, you're really picky at first, but then all of a sudden you get into a zone where you're like, exactly what it is you're looking for? Do you get that, or?
Yeah, yes, no. I think it depends what you want.
Yeah,
I think for some people, I've had instances where I'm like, oh, I want to find the one person, and then you get very picky, and then other instances where you're like, I just want to have fun. I don't really care. I think it depends on the person, but I think it's weird these days. Whereas before you would have to meet someone in person. Now I think technology has made everything so accessible to a certain level that it doesn't seem hard to actually meet people or to find people. But then to, I think, develop and prolong a relationship, that's where the difficulty lies.
Yeah, I mean, it's the opposite of problem now, where you can meet too many people.
Yeah.
It's hard to find the right person to meet. Like, you can jump on Skype and chat to anyone in the world. but is that necessarily the right person to chat to just because you both swiped right?
Yeah.
Like,
well, absolutely. I think, it goes back to that FOMO chat we had previously, where I think the danger with these apps is that if you have met someone, you're like, yeah, they're pretty good. In the back of your head, you're very likely to fall into the trap of going, well, there are a lot of other people that seemed okay online. Maybe they'll be good too.
The key is having like low self-confidence. Then you're just happy that someone loves you, right? That's the key. You just got to be content.
Is there also something that plays on your mind that's like this? Is there something that feels contrived about a relationship that comes off the back of something like Tinder, where it's like there was an algorithm and it was just a fluke of an algorithm that set us both up? Like,
I don't think so.
But that's like real life, you know?
I mean,
like
true,
people meet each other, in weird circumstances.
Tinder's not
in real
much
life.
of an algorithm. All it does is look at your
like a
location
John
and you
Cusack
basically
film.
just sit there going, no, yes, no, yes, no.
True. But it's like that's so flippant as well, It's like...
Well, the worst is when you go no and you're like, oh, wait, that was a yes. And you're like, and you can't get it.
Don't you have an undo? Because some apps have an undo.
You have to pay for
premium. Premium for the undo. It's hard to get you. But you just give up. You just give it up. You're like, oh, well, I'm sure they weren't that good anyway.
Yeah.
And then most of the time when you get a match, you're like, I'm not going to, don't even say hi half the time.
Yeah, I've heard that that's a thing that people match up and then they don't talk.
Yeah.
What's the point? Isn't the point of
sometimes it's just nice to feel that there was a yes there.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
I think for some people, like I've shown you some of the really bad messages I've got.
Yeah.
They are pretty terrible.
Oh my gosh.
And I think if you're a female on these dating apps, you tend to just not engage if you're not interested. Because if sometimes when you start engaging,
why would you swipe right?
No, it's not necessarily Tinder. It's like anything really.
Right.
It's like if someone messages you.
Right.
You're like, I would only answer, reply if I'm interested.
Yeah.
If I'm not interested, I'm not going to say thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
Because that just leaves you open for like a world of pain.
Yeah, for sure. But what about on like Tinder where you've both said okay?
I think it's like, it's a matter of, there's degrees of yes. So if someone's kind of just scraped by and they hit you back, you're like, but you've got someone you're currently talking to who was like a big yes.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I'm not going to really waste my time.
Right.
Sorry, but you're just sitting there on the app, so you just kind of muck around and you just keep going through matches.
Is it like Pokemon where you can go into your bag of Pokemon and favorite different Pokemon that you want to have sex with?
You can favorite, and it tells someone else if you favorited them though. So you'll get a message being like, this person really super likes you.
But sometimes when you've both favorited each other, you still don't message each other. Why? Because as Joe said, there are different levels of like, and sometimes you favorite someone, you're like,
the like.
Your profile's kind of cute, but I don't know if I want to actually talk to you.
Yeah.
And they're like the same.
It's like, I can't believe this guy favorited me.
I love talking to people, so I would just talk to everyone.
It depends what mood you're in as well. You can just be sitting there in a mood where you just want to look, and then people start talking to you, and you're like, I'm not in a talking mood tonight.
Yeah, that's very true.
And then the next day, you're just like, I'm
also totally hot and cold. Like, I'll be like, I want to talk to people, and then like 3 minutes later, I'm like, I am done. I'm not going to reply anymore.
Yeah.
Don't message me.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I could talk about online dating for so long. So many stories. I can tell you later. Anyway, so I want to move on to what was your high school experience like and what you think should be taught in high schools. Pete and I, with Goose, went to Gympie a couple months back to shoot the coding story, which I'm incredibly proud of because I always like to let people see inspirational teachers and what cool stuff is happening in schools. So did you guys have fun in high school? Was it tolerable? Was it gross? Like,
there were good moments and bad moments.
Yeah. It's hard when you're in school because like that's the period of your life where you have no idea who you are and what you want. And like, sure, you get electives in year 9 and 10, 11, 12. I didn't look at the list and be like, oh, I wish there was this.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to do these because I don't want to do like 4-unit English. So like, you're just trying to fill the points, not necessarily thinking about what would be the best thing for you. Whereas like this coding stuff that Ken Brady's doing, like if that had been there, I would have jumped at it. But because it didn't exist at my school, it wasn't something I thought about. And I'm sure like coding is just one example. There's plenty of stuff that doesn't get taught in schools, which would inspire kids to, in their career path.
Did you guys have any issues in engaging with school or with the curriculum?
Yeah, I mean, I was probably like early high school. I really wasn't into it. I went to Sydney Grammar and they force you in year 7 to do Latin, which is just like, was not interested in that at all. And I really wasn't interested in math and a lot of the kind of subjects that we had to do. So it was just really hard to stay focused and, care about anything. And you're just like, when am I going to give a shit about Latin? Like, when am I going to need it? And, there are times Latin has its uses. The school really drills that into you. It's like, it's not totally useless, all right? Like, if you're like a scientist or something, they use Latin names. Look at that.
Sometimes you make up Latin-themed jokes for Spawn Point.
Do I?
I think so. I think we were playing with Latin at one point for one of the segments.
Caecilius est in archery.
Yeah.
But it was fake Latin.
Yeah, we were coming up with the name for Minecraft Academy or something like that.
Yeah, that was it.
But there you go.
Dingus.
That's like... making fake Latin words is the one use of a year of Latin in my life.
But was there something that you were incredibly interested in that, for example, coding or game design that you would have really jumped at?
I would have jumped if they had that, but again, senior grammar is very, like, they don't even let laptops into school at all. Like, there's a computer room, there's a computer lab, and you're allowed into that.
I mean, that was back then. It might have changed by now.
I read very recently, I think this year, that the headmaster is still like, no, we don't want
really?
that. We like teachers teaching properly, and there's something to be said for that. But obviously, the school, I think, should get with a more technologically advanced curriculum in parts, at least. Like, if they don't want students to have laptops, that's fine, but still teach that stuff. It's important in today's society. We had design and technology. I remember really enjoying that, which is basically, cutting stuff with laser cutters and vacuum forming stuff. It was awesome. But you only got to do that for year 7, and then it was very selective. Only like 20 students in each year could keep doing it, and I wasn't good enough. So.
See, I find that
with the vacuum form.
No,
I find that so shit that, especially if they choose kids in terms of merit, like, okay, you have to be the best in this class if you want to keep going with this. And you're like 13, 12, 13. You
have 1 year at this.
You have so much time to learn and to develop, and at that stage, like, someone shouldn't have to make that decision for you. If you enjoy something, you should be able to continue with it if they have the resources, right?
Yeah, you tell them, Lin.
Yeah, I'm telling them right now.
I think high school is so incredibly formative. I know that. For example, I had one teacher who was an incredible science teacher in year 7, and from that point forward, I was like, I bloody love science. And even after I had bad teachers after him, I was still like, no, science is amazing and I want to know more. I think that it's also an amazing opportunity to learn like a very big breadth of subjects. So yeah, for example, like we had DT and we did woodwork and metalwork in years 7 and 8. And then it again wasn't offered to later years. But now I'm like, I would love to do woodwork. I would love to build a table, but I don't have those skills. They were kind of vaguely offered and they could have been offered better, but it didn't follow through. I also went to an agricultural high school, so we had farming. And that was actually one of my favorite parts of school. And I wish I did it in years 11 and 12, but I picked chemistry instead and then dropped out because I can't do titrations.
Oh, man.
Titrations, man. And molarity.
Moles and stuff.
Oh, my gosh. I never understood it. But yeah, just learning agriculture in early high school, that actually impacted who I am today. I know that sounds really cheesy, but who I am today in a big way, because I deeply care about farming now. And that has influenced so many other aspects of my personality and passions. So yeah, I definitely think that giving kids a breadth of subjects, it doesn't necessarily have to be depth of subjects, but a breadth of subjects at that age is so important, because it can change the trajectory of your life and it can teach you things and give you interests and passions that previously you wouldn't have been opened up to. And it's the perfect time to do it because you are just starting down.
Well, you're a sponge.
Yeah, exactly.
At that point in time, you just absorb.
And you're just starting down pathways towards bigger and greater things. So it gives you an opportunity to have a better informed decision about where you want to go.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because, I mean, who actually remembers much of what they actually were taught in subjects?
I remember parts.
I remember 2 years of trying to hide awkward erections. Then it was like...
We're not talking about the dating app anymore here.
And then it was another 4 years.
Where did they come from?
When's Halo 3 coming out? And then Halo 3 came out.
Peter
That was
Burns.
high school for me.
Peter Burns.
I remember Halo 2 was coming out. just around exam time.
Yeah.
And I went to the midnight launch and I like played it all night until sunrise and had an exam the next day. I think it was an economics exam. Did not do well. but I was one of the first people to play Halo 2 online and it was good.
Yeah. And for you, that experience is totally worse.
Yeah.
Almost failing that economics.
Why isn't
test.
Halo a subject at school?
Yeah, Halo was a subject that
Halo
we paid
should
more
be a
attention.
subject. When we were up in Gympie, right next to Ken's class, they were holding a film course. That for me, like if I had that in my high school, oh man, like I would have jumped that.
Yeah.
Like I would have been ducks, 3 years running.
But I think it's also important to point out that these quote-unquote fun subjects need to be taught well, and that's something that it really looked like they do in Gympie. It really looked like he was
absolutely it needs structure. Yeah, absolutely.
Because, like, for example, I play music. I did music in high school. I didn't learn shit. We went in, we played with the instruments, and then we left, and then we had to do exams that we didn't understand. Like, that's it. So,
I want to talk a bit about music because I'm hugely into music. I love music. I've done a lot of my own study, but I hated music in high school because of my teacher and because of what was taught. I did not engage with it at all. And for someone who's like, utterly into music and who loved it, and to go to school and then hate music was very odd. It was very confusing. And I think that comes down to inspirational teachers and also teachers teaching things which will engage students and not just teaching things which are just on a syllabus somewhere.
Yeah. I had a very similar experience. I was probably the perfect combination of musically talented enough to be able to pick things up quite quickly and also a big nerd and very studious. So had they taught music well, I'm sure I would know anything about like music theory. But the entire thing is kind of more so based around viva voces, which is talking about something to do with music, or performance based, but they don't teach you anything to do with playing the instruments. You just go and you practice yourself and you have outside tutors. So I really, like thinking back, I don't know what the point of those classes was at all. It was just an opportunity to get to play more. But yeah, it's a huge shame because I actually would have loved to walk away from that knowing music theory. I kind of knew a little bit from piano lessons that I had as a kid, and tried to keep that up myself, but there was no structure there to reinforce it. So yeah, I don't know. It's a big shame, and I think my teacher, as lovely as he was just a guy that loved music, and this was a job,
Yeah.
The curriculum to get through.
Yeah, exactly. I had that same thing with art as well. Like, I love art. Can't draw, can't paint for shit.
I loved doing art at school.
There wasn't anyone there to really teach you from scratch, because by the time you got to early high school and year 7, year 8, that's where compulsory art was. Everyone who could draw and paint could already draw and paint, and they were like, "You guys are great. You guys are doing great work." And the rest of the class just like, "What the fuck are we doing?"
Like, that's nice. You keep painting whatever that is.
I'm happy you're happy.
Yeah, and so when it got to elective time or whatever, you're like, well, I'm kind of really shit at art. Like, I really enjoy it, but I'm really shit. So again, like Joe, like in your case, it's like it's almost merit based in a way rather than learning based. Like, I want to learn, please teach me.
And I think it's such a shame because by the time high school rolls around, people are like, okay, these kids are good at this, these kids are good at this, and it sort of starts to shy away from what people are interested in trying. And high school should just be about trying shit and being bad at it, because what better time to look like a dork than when you're going through puberty? You already look awful. Like, go
high
for
school
it.
Yeah, you're already getting like awkward erections, right?
It should celebrate failure a bit more, I think.
Yeah,
letting people try and fail and not be good at things, but encouraging them to stick with it rather than just being like, well, you're not good at it, so you fail.
Absolutely.
So you can't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Just because that really shuts a kid down.
I remember feeling embarrassed for wanting to try stuff in high school as well. Like,
Try hard is the worst.
Yeah.
It's the worst term ever.
Yeah, you're like, and then you have to be like, oh no, I'm not a try. I don't even care about that.
I don't even study for a test.
There's such a culture of that, wasn't it? Like, did you study? And you're like, no. They're like, good. No one studied. It's like, phew, at least we all didn't study. And then it's like, actually turns out most of them did study.
Yeah.
Bastards.
Peter, if you were going to go back to high school, what subjects would you want to study?
What subjects would I take?
Yeah, or anything that you can think of that would have helped you in life up to this point.
Right. Well, there was a media course at my school. I guess I should have done that. Because that would have been useful now.
Probably
Still,
not.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've learned a lot more.
Learning. Yeah. Coding, I think. Coding is interesting to me, not because I think I'd be good at it, but because so much of what I do in my job now and so much of what the future holds for society is about how you interact with software. And I think it'd just be interesting to know a bit more about the mechanics behind it, to at least have a better understanding of. There's so much maths in it, though. Oh,
Oh, maths.
not that I hate maths. It's just like it's very complex. So it'd be good to have a kind of a broad understanding of that, general understanding of that, so that I can look at a web page and be like, oh yeah, I know how that works.
Joe?
I kind of wish they did a lot more just general life skill stuff, like teach you how to fix a basic car and cook a basic meal. And, you know, I've learned a lot of that stuff since, but I still don't know how to fix a car. Like,
YouTube, Joe.
Yeah, but I don't know, just general stuff that's actually practical. I think kids would appreciate that, a bit more hands-on stuff that you actually get to do, because you just tune out. If you sit in a classroom for 8 hours a day or whatever, you just, by the end of it, you're not even paying attention. Or by the start of it, you're not paying attention.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree. I want, as I said this week, you're never too young to learn about tax. I honestly think life skills like financial literacy, budgeting, wealth management, all that stuff is so important in life, and no one ever teaches you it.
My primary school did a little bit of that. They like the Dolomite saving.
Dolomite saving.
Yeah.
That was all just like Illuminati, Commonwealth Bank taking over Australia's youth.
Get them while
But
they're
it was
young.
fun.
It was fun.
I had a piggy bank and everything.
Yeah.
But I think all these life subjects should be separated from marks. Like they should not impact on your score or on your HSC or whatever.
I think it should be done based on, and I know this is totally hard and it would put a lot of pressure on teachers, but I think it should be done based on your personal progress, because the way that things are done now, it's very much you're marked against other students rather than you're just marked against how much you have improved.
Yeah.
And obviously I know that there's a lot of reasons why that is, but for things like this, it would be so fantastic if it's like, say, like a drawing class, you've improved kind of from, let's use colours, from like a red to a green and things like that.
Why's red the bad colour?
Who said it was bad? Maybe you
Art
regressed.
Art is a hard example, isn't it? Because like anything can be art. It's just got to come from the right place.
But the thing is, it should, as Rad said, it should mark you on your own progress. So here's where you've started from, and here's, your development through the year or, through the semester or something.
Yeah.
Which is a lot harder for teachers because they have to, a Socratic method of
and you have to pay attention
teaching.
to every student. And you almost can't even grade it. You just talk about you have improved here. These are the things you should be proud of.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a bit floofy, isn't it?
It's all floofy. See, I've had high school students email me, had 2 this year asking me, what should I study for my high school certificate or VC or whatever? Should I do media studies if I think I want to go into media studies? And we talked about, Peter, you might have wanted to do media back in high school. And I always tell these kids, like, are these subjects going to get you the marks to get you into the university course that you want to do? Because the university course will outweigh anything that you do in high school.
Yeah.
Which is such a tragedy in a way, because I want to say to these kids, go explore, learn. But instead I have to say, well, study the subjects that will get you the good marks.
Got to min-max high school.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's just like my privilege of going to a good school and already being clever enough to be able to get good marks, but I totally think you should just do whatever, because that's your opportunity to do it, right? And you can always get into a quote unquote better uni course if you need to through other avenues. There's always transferring or going through
it does take a bit more time. It takes a bit more time,
though. But you better yourself as a person.
And not everyone has the opportunity to sow fields and slaughter pigs.
But it's fun, Peter.
Yeah. I had a really interesting comment on Twitter today from Harrison Shoebridge. Great name, Harrison. He says, personally, I'd really love to see our schools help make teenagers more aware of mental health. Which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you guys all did PE, health aid or whatever the health class was.
I don't think we talked about mental health very much at all. Yeah.
No, and I think that's such a huge issue right now.
I think maybe a couple of tutor groups it was brought up. I don't know if you ever had tutor groups in your school where it's just one period a week you would just have a guy who kind of looked after a small group of you, and he would or she would talk about whatever, and you might just go to the Chinese gardens and meditate or go see a movie or something just to relax.
No, they did not care for us in that fashion. No. Absolutely. I think especially high school is just such a tumultuous time, isn't it? But that's the time where like I started having friends who had mental health issues, and some of them quite serious mental health issues that you never talk to adults about it as well. You just talk insularly because I don't know, it's so stigmatized.
Also, I mean, you know, was there a stigma in your schools in terms of like seeing a counsellor? Like, I know we only had a part-time counsellor, and it was like, well, I guess the issue isn't that bad, so I'll just deal with it.
There was a stigma. It's just there wasn't obvious where he was or what to do. You know, it wasn't a big presence. Like, I think there was a counsellor, but it was only like you got sent to him if you really screwed up.
Yeah, and it's like you don't get sent because
someone.
Exactly. You don't get sent because you need support. You get sent because some big dramatic event happened that needs to be dealt with.
It certainly needs to have more attention in school. It's hard though. You know, you're so intellectually immature. It's hard to process it all, and it's hard to process what's happening to people around you. And it's like, I don't know how much it would help, but it can't hurt, you know, like just to hammer it home, to really be like cultivating, thinking about not only like mental health issues, but also like empathetic issues as well. Like just trying to recognize how people are different to you and how they're going through similar things to you and stuff like that.
And also, I mean, kids at, you know, beginning of high school through to about mid high school are just the worst. Pretty much the worst members of society, like terrible to each other. Once you kind of hit year 11, 10, 11, 12, I think everyone kind of chills out. But it can be a really rough period of time where all the cliques hate each other. You know, you've got a few friends, but everyone else hates you. You hate them. It's just horrible.
So what you're saying, it's like work.
No. We've got a
what are you saying about work?
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
You saying you hate me?
I love you, Joe. Everyone loves you. So I'm going to end the podcast on that point. I think, you know, schools definitely need more support. Teachers need more support. And to all you high schoolers out there, go
Follow
and learn.
Your heart.
Go and learn. Go learn anything, you know, dabble, experiment, do stuff, because that's the best time.
And find love through Pokemon.
And find love through Pokemon.
But stay safe.
Yeah.
Always wear a Pokeball.
Pokedom. You made a dirty joke. It was a good thing and now it's dirty.
Again, thank you all for joining me today. And as always, if you've got a topic you want us to chat about on Good Game Roundtable, you can tweet me at LJology or leave a comment on Facebook or SoundCloud. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.